Welcome back to some Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. As we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where woo, it's the weekend. I was gonna stream today, but then I didn't because I didn't have time. So I guess I'm only going to presumably stream once then this month, and it's gonna just be like a mega stream tomorrow, if anything, which is it's not how I intended things to be, but you know, it's how it goes sometimes, you know. Streaming is difficult when you got to find the time for it. So I apologise if you've been missing the streams, and if you haven't been missing them, then fair enough. Life is as it is. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:04 p.m. on Friday, April 25th, 2025. Oh, I'm just tired, if anything. Not tired as in sleepy, but tired as in just I'm ready to sort of just chill out. Maybe watch some more Only Connect. I feel like Only Connect is... I found the thing for me to put on casually in the background. And it's not a binge watch Netflix series. For whatever reason, it's just one of the hardest quiz shows on TV right now. If anything, there's a level of catharsis, I think, to it. And I can't tell you why. Actually, to be fair, the thing I would sometimes put on while I'm doing stuff would always be Dropout TV. But, you know, it's not like they obviously can't release out things on a super frequent basis because they have a lot of quality that they put into things. So the stuff I've got left to watch, I suppose, would be like the Dimension 20 stuff. But also, I don't know, that feels like a commitment to watch that stuff as well. Something's wrong with my brain of I'm trying to engage with media properties. But anyway, what should we talk about today? Great question. Don't have an answer? Let's figure it out. What games have come out recently that I've thought have been interesting? Not really sure. Nothing that's crazy, I think, for me to talk about. There's a Genshin Impact, the whatchamacallit, the preview for the next patch. That stuff that was very cool. Can't wait to see what on earth the heck is going on in that story. But first I need to finish Star Rails and then ZZZ story. And now WooWise as well, so... yeah. Well, what can we talk about? I guess we'll talk about something random. Because I'm I don't even know what to talk about anymore. That's not my accent. I don't know, it's a very fun accent, that. What should we talk about? Let me think. Hold on. Sorry. Let me peruse. I'm going through a library of different sort of topics that I've wanted to talk about at some point or another, and sort of trying to find deep inside what may be there, what may not be there. I don't know why Beyblades immediately came to mind. It was actually spinning tops, but I was like, I don't really have much to say about spinning tops. But then Beyblades came to mind. Mainly because I always think about the fact that one of my friends in primary school had a Beyblades themed birthday party. I remember it was us. I say us as if you would know who I'm referring to. It was me and a group of, I'm gonna say 12 kids or something, were in a room or area rented out. I don't think it was his house. I don't think I've ever been to that friend's house. And it was bring your Beyblades. And I was like, oh, the only Beyblades I have are some 2 random ones from China or something. Why do I have them? I have no recollection ever wanting them or buying them. I just remember getting them at some point. But I guess because they just must have been really, really popular toys or something. They were probably something in the entertainer or whatever. But I did have the arena as well. It was just, I mean, if you, I don't know if Beyblades is still a thing anymore. Let's see, Beyblades. Do people still... Is there a current series or something? 1999 to present, so I guess so. But yeah, I mean, back in my day, it was very simple. The Beyblade Arena was just literally a clear blue plastic, a big dish, I would guess, is how I describe it. And the Beyblades were just the simplest things ever. They were just a little plastic square, which... it's going to be impossible to describe the mechanism, but it's a ripcord mechanism where you have a jagged tooth plastic stick essentially, which slots into one part of that square which you hold, and then it turns basically this two-pronged thing sticking out the block, and once you pull on it with enough rotation and with enough force, it like spins it around really quickly, and that two-pronged thing can click into basically the top of the Beyblade. So when you like pull out the ripcord, it spins around the Beyblade really fast, and boom, you got a Beyblade battle on your hands right there. But yeah, it's like a I don't know what else to say about it, because you do that, and then like the two Beyblades just sort of like crash into each other, and you're basically just watching Entropy in action, if I'm to put it in the most robotic way possible. And is that the correct description of not Beyblades, of Entropy? Maybe. It is the sort of thing where I'm pretty sure I know the concept of entropy being like the general sort of movement towards like stable state, I suppose, is how you describe it in like a regular parlance. But it's like, is it high energy or is it low energy? I can't remember. But it's basically like a resorting back to, I don't know how to describe it. A gradual... Okay, let's see what Wikipedia says. A thermodynamic quantity representing the unavailability of a system's thermal energy for conversion into mechanical work, and often interpreted as a degree of disorder or randomness in the season. A lack of order or predictability, gradual decline into disorder. I completely forgot about information theory one. Yeah, wait, high entropy, sorry, wait, yeah, that's right. High entropy is more disordered, low entropy is high amounts of order. But isn't it like the entire universe is decreasing in entropy? Is that the idea? Is universe decreasing in entropy? The entropy has increased by a factor of quadrillion. What? What? Oh no, so the universe will end in entropy. It will reach a state of maximum entropy in which everything is evenly distributed and there are no energy gradients. Hold on. We're learning a lot about entropy now. Screw Beyblades. We're not talking about that anymore. What's going on with entropy? Entropy increases the temperature. Hold on. So what? Wait. So I think I actually learned and got the idea of entropy, but I got the concept backwards in my mind. Because I was like, the universe is eventually going to reach a state of like some sort of stability, which I thought was minimum entropy, as in there was no energy distribution. I think that's a nice way to put it. There's no energy gradients. Everything is just not fixed per se, but it's bound. Like, imagine like you're sloshing water about in a cup or something, and it's eventually it comes perfectly still. To me, that's like the final state of a universe, I suppose. I thought that's low entropy, not high entropy, but this is saying it reaches a state of maximum entropy. I'm getting confused now which way around entropy is. Low randomness, low entropy, low disorder. Wait. End of universe entropy. I need Big Bang to the Big Rip. Things being ripped apart. Is that what the death of the universe means with entropy? Actually, this is crazy. I'm like blowing my mind right now. Maximum entropy. Hold on. Wikipedia article. Ultimate face of the universe. Entropy. Heat death of the universe, also known as a big freeze, is a scenario under which continued expansion results in it. The universe asymptotically approaches absolute zero temperature. The universe eventually reaches a state of maximum entropy in which everything is evenly distributed. No energy gradients which are needed to sustain information processing. What? Entropy is a scientific concept most commonly associated with states of disorder or randomness or uncertainty. Yes. Why is that maximum entropy if there's no energy gradients though? Because I thought maximum entropy was maximum chaos, or I guess I've been tying it up with instability in my mind, which is not actually true. It's maximum chaos and maximum disorder, right? Oh, here we go. Contradiction on the entropy of a universe decreasing. -2 votes, so you found nothing of the sort. People ripping into this person. Entropy has an arrow of time. Entropy is one of a few quantities in physical sciences that require a particular direction of time. As one goes forward in time, the second law of thermodynamics says that entropy of an isolated system can increase but not decrease. Okay, so it's not I got it's more like I got the labeling of entropy backwards in my head. I was because I was like entropy. In my head, for some reason, I thought it always decreases. But now I think about it more, I've also often said it increases. So basically, I just realized I'm like rewriting the laws of words in my mind to be like, hold on a minute. I've never actually properly defined it in my brain. Let's lay out the foundation so I don't use it wrong. Entropy measurement is a way of distinguishing the past from the future, and but not isolated, local entropy can decrease over time, accompanied by a compensating entropy increase in the surroundings. Yes, okay. So, okay, the end of the universe is entropy increasing to a maximum, which is a complete... But surely maximum entropy is maximum disorder, but that's what I don't understand. But then it's describing it as there are no energy gradients, which sounds to me that is... Wait, maybe that is maximum disorder. If everything's equally energetic, is that what it means? Maximum entropy, death of universe, heat death of universe. And so the universe has reached a uniform temperature and no more energy is available to do work. Does this make sense in my mind? But why? Hold on. I'm getting myself confused here. If it's maximum entropy, so there's no more energy left to do work, why is that also maximum disorder? So why is entropy also disorder? It's more accurately a measure of a number of possible arrangements of all microstates of a system. Is the amount of order or disorder of a thermodynamic system? We're just taking a physics lesson right here. I'm not even doing Animal Crossing anymore. Measure of unavailability. A measure of the unavailability of a system's energy to do work. Also a measure of disorder. The higher the entropy, the greater the disorder. A measure of the unavailability of a system's energy to do work. So that lines up with the death of the universe thing. Maximum entropy means there's zero availability. So maximum unavailability of a system, the solar system, the universe system, to do work. But that somehow means a greater disorder. A measure of disorder of higher entropy, greater disorder. State of disorder. Measure disorder of a universe or unavailability of energy in a system to do work. How are those equivalent though? Disorder equivalent to unavailability of energy. Haven't I put entropy in there? Freeze for entropy, unavailability of energy and disorder. Not only are related but in fact essentially equivalent. Heat transfer of energy from hot to cold is related to the tendency in nature for systems to become disordered and for less energy to be available. Wait, what? Heat transfer of energy from hot to cold is related for systems to become disordered. What? Measure of its disorder and its unavailability of its energy to do so. I need something which explains to my dumb brain at the moment why this makes sense. How can we reconcile entropy as the unavailability of energy and entropy as a measure of disorder? Okay, there we go. Which answers to puzzles. Whenever you increase the heat or something so that you can get work out of a system, you're increasing both the order and the available energy. Whenever you increase the heat or something, I'm going to assume you mean increase the energy or something. Well, I mean, no, hold on, that's not true. You get the work out of a system, you're increasing both the order and the available energy. How does that increase the order? An increase in entropy is a decrease in order. We mean the state has a high degree of order. What we mean by state has a high degree of order, that state with a lower degree of order is that a change in state from the state with a lower order to one of a higher order is of a nature that the state change does not happen by accident. Okay, wait. States a high degree of order than a state with a lower degree of order? Is that a change in state from the state with a lower to the higher one? Wait, so things can't go from a lower order or higher disorder to a lower disorder. Like things can't go from higher entropy. So, okay, low order state can't go to high order state naturally. Low order state can't go to a high order state. High disorder state can't go to a low disorder state. High entropy can't go to low entropy naturally. Okay. So wait, does that mean the depth of the universe is not, despite it being called a big freeze, it means a big freeze because there's no more energy transfer? It doesn't mean that there is no energy in there. It would just be the maximum energy of all the time, just equalized across everything. My mind is like breaking right now at the moment. The craziest part is I've almost certainly learnt about this in physics at some point. And then clearly I've forgotten it, and then relearnt it wrong. When you take energy from the heat source of a power engine to do your work, you're adding energy to... This is like an AI answered question. It can't be done since entropy is not a measure of disorder. Okay, crazy. But where disorder is too general to be quantitative, there's no formal definition. What's the meaning of entropy? Okay, I feel like Quora, you've not got... Why is entropy the unavailability to do work? What does that mean? I have no idea what my textbooks means. Okay. Thermodynamics being taught separately from statistical mechanics is no understanding of entropy. One way to think about entropy is to try and think about trying to dry off after taking a shower. You want a towel that's much drier than you are, because a wet towel will get you wetter. Yes, okay, you won't get perfectly dry. Well, I can see that. It's a gradient of change, essentially. You won't get a perfectly dry towel because there's always some ambient moisture in the air. So you can try and dry yourself with a towel that's pretty dry. Lots and lots of things in one towel. Eventually the towel gets so wet it will stop picking up extra water from other stuff, but it's not stopping wet. So it's some amount of dryness, but you can't use it for drying things. A damp towel has more entropy than a dry towel. Okay, yeah, so that is it. The depth of the universe is not an energyless state. It's just the maximum, but it's not a maximum energy state either, that it could possibly be. It's more like it's a completely even energy state compared to everything around it. So, okay, taking this metaphor, it's almost like if the universe is our room, and we had like a bathtub in it, which was obviously very, very wet. Maximum entropy state would be that water distributed throughout everything in the room, so nothing can get any wetter or any drier than it is at the moment, because everything around it is equally wet and equally dry. That's maximum entropy. And that's maximum order or disorder? That's theoretically maximum disorder rather than maximum order. Why does that? The disorder of a system, but it has its drawbacks. I need something which explains the disorder part. I understand the other part though. You can also see the link to disorder here. Wait, that's entropy. Having MB distribution among particles is... It's a state with highest entropy. The second law is really just saying that the system over time will end up where it's statistically most likely to be. As having all the energy in one particle, or having energy distributed exactly equally among all the particles, are more ordered states. What? So only has one... Take an ideal gas in a box, which only has 1 degree of freedom, a form of energy, okay? The kinetic energy of a gas particle, sure. Distribute some energy among the gas particles however you like, make them all move, okay, however you want. Then let the particles bounce around randomly for a while and equilibrate. At equilibrium, the velocities become Maxwell-Boltzmann distributed and stay that way. It's purely statistical, that's fair. It's currently not order when we concentrate back into one, just as you don't notice all the particles suddenly concentrating into one corner of the box. That's entropy. Having among the particles is the most probable state with the highest entropy. Okay. I mean, yes, I get that. But I don't see why that is disorder. Instead, the second law is really just saying a system over time will end up exactly where it's most likely to be. You can see the link to disorder here. Orbit as having all the energy in one particle is disorder, or having the energy distributed exactly equally among all the particles are more ordered. So the disorder being all the energy in one particle being like the maximum disorder state. But that's not the Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution of equilibrium, which is the highest entropy state, isn't it? What's going on here? I need to read more into this. Like, I'm actually like completely confusing myself here. You know, you gotta learn these things if I'm ever gonna be on Only Connect. Am I ever gonna do that? No, probably not. But it's an interesting thought. Wow, entropy. You know what? Time to go back to A-level physics. Anyway, on that note, sorry. This has literally just been me reading, like, things on the web, on the internet. Like, I haven't even said anything of interest. Maybe I have a physics professor or something who can explain why entropy and disorder are connected inherently. I just can't see why the highest entropy state is the highest disorder state, when it feels like it would be more disordered if it was more random, if it was not randomly distributed, but if it had a more uneven distribution. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to round this episode off here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.